Gracias, señor presidente.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much indeed, President Nicolas Maduro. I wish to recognize President of Cuba, Miguel Diaz-Canel, President of Bolivia, Luis Arce Catacora, President of Nicaragua, Daniel Ortega Saavedra. We had with us earlier on Prime Minister of Dominica and Antigua and Barbuda. I recognize Prime Minister Ralph Gonzalez of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, former Prime Minister and Minister of Foreign Affairs of St. Kitts and Nevis, Mr. Denzel Douglas, Claudius Francis, Speaker of the House of Assembly of St. Lucia, Leslie Voltaire, President of the Transitional Presidential Council of Haiti, Gerardo Torres Zayaya of Honduras, and Riyad Malki, President of the State of International Affairs and Special Envoy of Palestine. Colleagues, I bring you warm greetings from Prime Minister Honorable Dick Mitchell of Grenada, who is unable to join us here today, but sends his best wishes for a fruitful and meaningful summit. I also, Mr. President, bring to this meeting the memories of Maurice Bishop, who in 1979, at age 35, created the Grenada Revolution, and together with Cuba and Nicaragua, was seen as three small giants fighting to give their peoples a better life. Mr. President, on my way here, I reflected on the many positive social and economic impacts that ALBA-TCP has had on our sub-region over the past 20 years. And I do believe that it is a just and dignified reason for celebration. Venezuela has always stood firm with resolute determination and resilience, and continues to reach out to its members within the region through ALBA-TCP, which stands today as a proven mechanism for unity, dialogue, political cooperation, and coordination, and has permitted member states to collectively approach challenges with determination and solutions. ALBA-ATC, Mr. President, as we know it, promotes peace, integration, and respect for sovereignty, underscoring the importance of defining this region as a zone of peace. ALBA-TCP has lifted development cooperation within our region. At age 20, today, Grenada pays homage to the founders of ALBA-TCP, the late Comandantes Fidel Castro of Cuba and Hugo Chavez of Venezuela. They had a common vision of an alternative path to unity, peace, and development, and they also advocated for self-determination. Grenada recognized the region's forefathers who fought for its independence: Simón Bolívar, Antonio José de Sucre, among other heroes and martyrs. In a similar way, Mr. President, Grenada recognized our own father of independence, Eric Matugeri. This year, Grenada celebrates 50 years as an independent nation, a milestone in the progress of rebuilding and advancing as a united people with a common history. Mr. President, Grenada joined ALBA-TCP on 14 December 2014, and the ALBA Bank on 26th of November 2021, deepening its socio-economic advances in the region and furthering integration and development in areas such as health and security, among others. The height of the COVID pandemic was a testament to this. Today, Grenada adheres to the core principles of sovereignty and the right to self-determination, whilst aiming for trade partnership, connectivity, and progressive change. Within our government's transformational agenda, we are promoting a sustainable, equitable, and prosperous Grenada for everyone. Indeed, economic development, poverty eradication, overcoming our vulnerability to external shocks and natural disasters, gender equality, as well as reducing income and other inequalities are the focus of our medium-term plan. A mere few weeks ago, coming on the heels of Hurricane Beryl, Grenada was hard hit by heavy rains that resulted in flash flooding and further damages to infrastructure and to the agricultural sector. This underscores the need to deepen our collaboration for economic and environmental sustainability as vulnerable states facing the onslaught of climate change. We need to hold the developed nations accountable and get them to adhere to the desired reduction in emissions and to the principles of the Paris Agreement. The outcomes of COP26 was a far cry from what we expected. Through ALBA-TCP, Grenada believes that further cooperation can build resilience to the ongoing global challenges we face. Among these is the review of the classification of Caribbean countries as middle-income countries and the need to measure vulnerability accurately. We believe in the implementation of an ALBA-TCP Development Cooperation Agency to promote integration to offset the humanitarian challenge of socio-economic vulnerability and the pivotal challenge of continued poverty. Grenada fully supports ALBA-TCP 2030 strategic agenda as it fully addresses the needs of our country and of our desire to develop a nation where opportunities are available to all our citizens to become what they want to be, thus making us financially strong and economically independent. Grenada reaffirms its position that every nation has the right to build its own political, economic, social, and cultural system without the imposition of unilateral coercive measures from outside. In this regard, we firmly reiterate our call for the removal of the stringent economic, commercial, and financial embargo placed on our sister island nation of Cuba. It has been many years. Since 1962, Cuba has been denied the right to participate in the international trade and economic arena. This unjust blockade remains in place as a stigma that must be removed. Compounding this is the inclusion of Cuba on the list of countries that support terrorism. Grenada calls for the complete removal of Cuba from this list. And at the same time, we applaud the resolute social and economic resilience displayed by the Cuban government and people in the face of this unjust blockade. And I want to say, Mr. President, that I, as a graduate from the University of Camagüey, Cuba, I raise my own individual voice in calling for the removal of the embargo placed on Cuba. Mr. President, an economic historian may say to you that the last 2 decades, the last 2 centuries suggest that the 19th century can be characterized by the growth of Europe. The 20th century saw the dominance of America. But one can predict that this, the 21st century, must be the century for Africa and Asia, and for all developing countries to work together to achieve the financial integration and freedom as the basis for ensuring the economic independence and economic development. It is in this vision, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Chairman, that I wish to conclude by reaffirming Grenada's commitment to the institution of ALBA-TCP and to deepening integration to tackle the multiplicity of challenges we face. So let us start. Let us start by approaching the next 20 years with a renewed determination to use our time, our talents, and treasure to build a better world for all the peoples of this world. Long live Fidel! Long live Hugo Chavez! Long live ALBA-TCP! Muchas gracias.
Muchas gracias al compañero Lennox Andrew por su emocionante y contundente intervención.